Hello, welcome to Sam's Escuela. Today I'm going to discuss the seven parts of a computer. So this discussion is for the beginners who are not yet familiar with the parts of the computer. So before I begin, I would like to request all the viewers to please click the subscribe button below, hit the thumbs up, and also click the notification bell so that you are always updated in our discussion. And now let's proceed. The first part of the computer is we have the case. We have different sizes of case. We have the mini ITX tower, the micro ATX tower, the mid tower, and the full tower. So, what is a case? Case holds the parts of the computer and thus play the key role in determining the components you can install in your rig. Now, it depends on your taste what size of computer or what size of the case do you like. Okay, so think carefully if you're going to buy a mini ITX up to the full tower ITX. Think very carefully because it depends on the sizes of the case. It also depends on the components that you're going to install on that case. Okay, so next is we have the motherboard. As you can see in the picture, so that is the motherboard. So the motherboard is the heart of the computer. So all the parts of the computer are connected into the motherboard. So motherboard generally don't impact performance unless you plan an overclocking. So if you do, then specs like your motherboard's VRM quality can play a role in how fast can push your CPU. So the role of the motherboard is very expandable. You can replace all the components as long it is compatible with your mobile. When you said mobile, it is a motherboard. Okay, so there are different sizes of motherboard. We have the mini ITX, we have the micro ATX, and we have the ATX. When you said mini ITX, it has a pure expansion. Okay, so that is the motherboard. Next, we have the central processing unit or known as the CPU. If the motherboard is the heart of the computer, then the CPU is the brain of the computer. So the CPU execute commands and sends to the parts of your computer. So that is the role of the CPU. So it executes all the command, all the arithmetic, all the logical, it process all by the CPU. Okay, so that is the CPU. So in our generation today, we have an Intel Core i9, and for AMD we have the AMD Ryzen 9. Okay, so that is the CPU in our generation for today. Next, we have the graphics processing unit, or also known as the GPU. So GPU, that is the picture. So GPU, also known as the graphic or the video card, it gets among attention because the GPU receives order from the CPU and translate them into what you see in your screen. Okay, what you see in your screen, it all done by the GPU or the graphics processing unit. So in this case, if you want to buy a GPU, the most expensive GPU, that is the most powered GPU. So it pertains all the graphics. It only pertains the display. So if you are a gamer, then you want to buy a simple video card, make sure you think it very carefully. If you have the budget, then buy the expensive one. Okay. Next, we have the random access memory, or also known as the RAM. So this is a card. This is a card. Okay. So RAM used to store important short-term data. From the word short-term data, it is very short. So once the CPU or once the computer has shut down, your files will be deleted. So that is the RAM. So if you're going to buy a RAM, make sure the RAM capacity is higher. So from 8 gig to 16 gig or 16 gig to 32 gig. So that is the size of the RAM. So it is only for random access memory. Next, we have the storage or the HDD. So this is our hard disk. So hard drive. When we have two kinds of hard drive, or we have two storage. We have the HDD and we have the SDD. When you said HDD, that is the hard disk drive. Okay. So uh, what is the difference between the two? Okay. When you said hard disk, there is a disk inside that hard disk. So there is a moving head to store the data and read the data. So the the advantage of this is that it has um, the higher capacity of storage. Okay, while the solid state or the SDD, the solid state drive, it uses a flash memory wherein it is much faster than the HDD. Okay, so it is more faster than if you have the budget. Again, I suggest to buy an SDD. Okay, next. So as I've said, SDD or the HDD used for the storage of data, including the operating system that lets you use and interact with your system from computer in the first place. Next, we have the power supply. This is the last component. It is also very important for the users to know what is a power supply. So it converts main power into all the necessary voltage that your computer needs to run. Okay, so if you have a very powerful computer, very powerful component, make sure you also buy a very powerful power supply so that you will not have a shortage voltage on your computer. So make sure you buy a very a high wattage of a power supply so that it suits all your components. It will give sufficient supply on your computer components. Okay, so I hope you learned something with the parts of the computer. So again, if you are satisfied with the discussion, so kindly click again the like button if you did not click it yet, and also the subscribe, and then also click the notification bell. So this is all for today. Thank you for watching. Again, thank you very much. Goodbye.